Meeting is being recorded. Okay, welcome everybody to our Contemporary Issues class this morning, and I am coming to you from our classroom in the St. Andrew Church.
I
no
wish we
wonder
were
you got
there.
there so quickly.
Yes, they gave me permission to come and sit here and try and Zoom from our old classroom. So that's the view behind us of the mountains. You can see our old classroom, and I think it's working right. I think my computer's working correctly, so we'll see
Steve,
how
are
this
you
works.
are you using that cart for Zoom that the
No,
Legacy gave? Oh, okay.
no, this is
Okay.
just my laptop set up in our room and connected to the church Wi-Fi. And for now, until I am planning to meet with the AV guy and learn the better way to do this, but for today, just setting up in our room.
Yeah, the
So-
last Legacy meeting, we voted to give two sets of speakers and stuff, or whatever you need, audiovisual
Yes.
on carts, so they could be, people could, we could be there with you and you could Zoom with people not there.
Yes, I heard that. So we'll have a better Zoom setup than just my little laptop sitting here in front of me, and the light's not so good. I see I look kind of shadowy, but
Yeah, that's
we're going to get it all figured out as time goes on here. Hello, Bob and Jan. Nice to have you here.
Hello, Steve.
I am in our old Sunday school room here, 251, broadcasting today. So,
Really?
yes. So
So were y'all
getting
just
back to
talking
normal.
about when class is going to start again?
They're still saying September, but we'll see if anything's moved up. We will
Okay.
see, but at the least I can Zoom here and get us started back toward normality. So today I wanted to talk about TV and film from a Christian perspective and get thoughts on what everybody's seeing lately and recommendations. So that'll be fun to do. And of course, mute yourself in the lower left corner of your screen. And we are recording today. The usual announcements. How is everybody doing? Anything new? Anybody been traveling? I know Ron and Alice went to Moab, Utah, and had a great visit there.
We're going up to Ouray in a couple of weeks, so that'll be another little mountain trip.
The little Switzerland of America. They
Oh,
still
we
have
love
that,
it up
still have that sign in town that says that.
there.
That is,
Beautiful, beautiful.
that's pretty country. Yep. Okay. Anybody else?
Is that where you go across the $1 million highway?
Yep. And then in the fall, we'll head out, go back east and see family in Ohio and Indiana.
Good. And Susan's coming here in a couple of weeks from Ontario. And so hope to see Susan at the 9 o'clock service, whichever one you come to with Dad. So that'll be good. All righty. Well, then let's just jump in. Let me see if my share screen works here. I put a little bit into a Word document and I want to just try and share it there. Can you see that? Share screen coming through?
Yes.
You can see it, Ron and Alice too? All right, good. Okay, well, let's just jump in. I put this in as the first thing just because I was looking at it and recommended it. This is the Chosen TV series, a new television drama based on the life of Jesus and the first multi-season series about the life of Christ and the highest crowd-funded TV series or film project of all time. This one kind of had escaped my notice until recently when a couple friends told me that they had been watching this. There's been 2 seasons, 8 episodes each, and it's been getting good reviews about the storytelling and the cultural relevance. So I've watched just one so far of these, the first one, and thought it was done very well and looking forward to seeing some more. Anybody else seen this? Haven't looked at it yet? Well, if you want to, it is, as I emailed to you up here, you have to go to thechosen.tv/app and you create a free account, which takes just a few seconds. And then you click on the Chosen button to play and just see if we like it. Different way to do it. It's not on the regular TV formats, but it's supposed to be really a very higher quality TV show. So nobody's watched that yet, except me.
I have not.
I think it's more got buzz in the conservative churches, you know, the conservative circles that do follow these more, but we will see. Something worth looking at, checking out. So next, I just started listing some of the shows that I've been watching on Amazon Prime and wanted to recommend these to you. The first one is called Hell on Wheels, about the Transcontinental Railroad in the 1860s. And it didn't at first have much interest to me because just of the railroad topic versus I like old Westerns. But when I started watching this one, just the characters and the historicity of it kind of drew me in. And so if you like historical documentaries and looking at that, this one really takes you through the time in the 1860s after the Civil War when they laid the Continental Railroad from coast to coast, and they had all the challenges of the Chinese workers and the black workers and the Irish workers and how they had to try to get along while they were laying the railroad and the Indians would attack. And so it really does a pretty good job of that, and I recommend it. It's about 5 seasons of that show. And did anybody else watch that one? Not yet. Okay, one that Vicki and I watched last year was called A Place Called Home. There's a picture of it down here about a nurse in World War II who goes to Australia to serve in a hospital there, and how she integrates into the life and culture of Australia. And it's really good. And the characters again are good, and you get a feeling of what it's like to live in Australia and hear their language too, the different terms they have for things from American English. And it also has a gay son that is trying to be accepted into his family there, and between the rich and the poor economic strata of Australia at that time. Just really drew us in. So I recommend that one. Anybody else see that one? Not yet. Okay. And then A French Village. Also, Vicki and I watched that one last year. And that one is, hi, Pete. And that one is in subtitles. It's in French, but surprisingly, Vicki and I didn't mind the subtitles at all. It's about a little French village that was taken over by the Nazis in World War II, and how the French people survived under that occupation. It was just fascinating how they had to make compromises, try and get along with the Nazis, and survive during that time. Just another one really well done on the historical realism of that, and we like that one a lot. All Things Great and Small was another one on Amazon Prime. I'll bet some of you probably saw some of that about the veterinarian in England, and really a cute show about how he'd go around to the farms and take care of the horses and the dogs and the people he met there and the unusual circumstances that he had. Judy, you saw that one?
Yeah, that was good. That was a little sweet, but it was good.
Oh, Betty, you saw that one too? Yeah, sweet, kind of corny for some people today. We would think it's a corny English drama, but good characters, especially if you like animals. Really lots of good stories there. I remember one episode with the poor veterinarian had to put down somebody's horse, and they didn't like that. And so they went around calling him the horse killer in town. And so the poor veterinarian would have to say, no, I'm not a horse killer. I try to help every animal I can. That was good. Another one that Vicki and I watched was called The White Queen, and it was about a poor English girl who caught the eye of the young king, and she becomes the wife of the King of England. And so she had to learn how to live in the, what do you call it? The court of the English in the 16 or 1700s. And again, a good examination of the poor versus the rich. And we enjoyed that one too. Anybody see that one?
Was that Henry VIII, one of his wives?
No, I don't remember now, Alice, exactly who that was.
All right.
But yeah, but called The White Queen. And the last one I have here was called A Very English Scandal, and that was a movie with Hugh Grant about, and he from the 1940s, I believe, a true story of a English legislator in the House of Commons in the 1940s, and he was a closet gay man, and he tried to keep that secret and still worked lots of deals and be effective, but then people would blackmail him and try and expose that he was gay. And I thought he did a very good job in that. Anybody see that one? Called A Very English Scandal. Really well done. Okay. Anything on Amazon Prime that you all have seen that you can remember being from there? Oh, here's some movies too that I saw that I recommended on Amazon Prime. Scroll back up here a little bit. The Red Tent. Maybe some of you saw that about the time of Moses and his daughters, and how the ladies at their time of the month would go and live in the red tent during their time of the month and share stories. And thought that was really very good. Interesting cultural analysis of that time and of women culture and support in that time.
It was a
Yep.
very popular book years back.
Yes, based on a popular book. Yeah, it's a good little series too on Amazon Prime. If you want to see that one. Hempstead was a recent movie with Andy Garcia. No, that wasn't that one. The Andy Garcia one is called City Island. Hempstead was a Diane Keaton movie about her befriending a homeless guy in New York. And that was really cute. City Island was a movie about, with Andy Garcia, about living on a little island right off of the coast of New York City, and how they adapted to life on this little island that's only a mile long called City Island. Maybe some of you that have been to New York remember that, know that one. 7500 was a movie about a pilot who is hijacked at 7,500 feet. He was taking off, and all of a sudden somebody hijacks his airliner and kills the co-pilot. And so he's by himself with a hijacker in the pilot area there, and just very well done. Tense drama on how he and the hijacker talk and try to get out of this situation. So I really recommend that one. The Windermere Children was one Vicki and I really enjoyed, a movie about children in that were rescued from the concentration camp in World War II. And the children are taken, 300 of these children are taken to England, and they are traumatized, and how the counselors and the people there tried to normalize them and help them, counsel them before they were returned to the family that survived of them in Germany and throughout Europe. Really a touching movie, Windermere Children. While I'll go through the rest of these and then you guys tell me if you've seen some of these and if you liked them. Wild Mountain Thyme with Emily Blunt was in Ireland, about she and a neighbor who's a farmer and how they try to get married and make their relationship work in Ireland some decades ago. And just another one that really takes you to a different country and was very well made. Judy was the story of Judy Garland. And that was, oh, I can't remember her name now, the actress that starred in that. But Renee Zellweger, that's right. She was really good in that, in recreating Judy Garland. Black Like Me was one that I went back and saw recently. It's from probably the 50s or the 60s, about a reporter from New York who goes to the South. And yeah, Ron saw that one too, didn't you, Ron? And painted his face, his whole body black, and wanted to experience what it's like to be a black man in the South in the 50s or 60s. And it was very compelling. Of course, he had to then report what it was like. And I believe it was a true story about a New York Times reporter, if I remember correctly. Land is one I haven't seen, but it's about a lady who goes to Alaska and lives on the land by herself. Robin Wright, I just had that on my list to see. Looks interesting. And then last one was called The Father. Saw that on Amazon Prime there, and that was about the older man with dementia. And I saw that really as a different kind of artistic film because it kind of looks at it from the perspective of a broken mind trying to put together what he is experiencing and living. So it's a very different way to make a movie. You have to think of it as you're looking at it through the mind of someone with dementia, trying to figure out where he is at certain points and who he's talking to, which of his children. So very different kind. Okay, have any of you all seen those? Want to comment on those movies?
Are these all on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, those are all on Amazon Prime. I just made a list, I looked through my Amazon Prime list of what I had seen.
Steve, I've seen a couple of them. I thought I've seen Wild Mountain Thyme and Judy, and Judy was particularly fantastic because of the performance and just understanding how talented, how tortured Judy Garland was. It was really a beautiful film, and Wild Mountain Thyme also was very nice. Historic and nice, good acting, very beautifully. The cinematography was beautiful.
Yes. Good, Susan. I'm glad you shared my opinion.
Did you look at News of the World?
Yes.
Hanks.
With Tom Hanks as the guy that goes around reading the news to the old West towns. Yeah, that was different.
Yeah, well, and then he finds a girl that has been taken by the native peoples and saves her and takes her to her family. And the relationship between the 12-year-old girl and Tom Hanks, I thought was good.
It was very good.
Is All Creatures Great and Small, or All Things Great and Small?
I don't remember now for sure, Judy.
I think it might be All Creatures Great and Small.
I think you're right. Very good.
That was based on a book. There's a book.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
A series of books.
My wife read it to her first graders.
Yeah. What about Nomadland?
Yes, about the people who live in their cars and their RVs and just travel around. It was very good.
Did you like that? I thought it was more like a documentary and just her smiling on the screen.
Is that
for what
on
it was
Amazon
supposed-
Prime? Is Nomadland on Amazon Prime?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, she won the Academy Award for that, but it was really a very simple portrayal of what it was like to live from place to place in your car or your van.
Yeah.
Very different.
It was a good development of characters, I thought. Relationships between different people.
And real people in the
Yeah.
movie, not all actors. Some of those were the real RV camper people.
Mhm.
Okay, on Netflix, I just made a short list of things that I've seen or want to see on Netflix here and wanted to mention to you for those of you that have Netflix. First one looked kind of interesting, was called Cloudburst, about two older lesbians who escaped their nursing home to go get married. And this is a picture from the movie. I have not seen that yet, but it looks like, of course, a timely topic, and it might be funny and well done. So I'm going to be looking at that one. Anybody seen that one yet? Okay. Another one looked good to me was Blue Diamond, about an orphanage near an ocean, and the kids and their leader get into a fishing contest. And it just looked like a really cute movie to me with Dennis Quaid as the star of that one. And some of the series that Vicky and I watched lately was Downton Abbey, of course, and they're going to be coming back with another movie, a Downton Abbey movie sequel again. But it's been a few years since a lot of us saw that, and a lot of us loved it. We might go back and watch that. Call the Midwife is an interesting one about midwifery in England. I can't watch that one without the closed caption on because I can't understand what they say. Their accents are so thick for me. Queen's Gambit was a big hit last year. Probably a lot of us saw that, about the girl prodigy that wins the chess world championship. Really good. Bridgerton was a less known series, but about young people in England and in the caste system there, including Black rich characters and the white characters, how they get along and rule together. That was a high Netflix watched series. And then a new one that I just saw, haven't watched yet, but looks unusual, is called Atypical, about an autistic boy in high school. And that's got good reviews too, about how he tries to get along and be mainstreamed in high school as a high functioning autistic student. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one. Any thoughts on those series or movies on Netflix?
I thought Queen's Gambit was exceptional. It was
Very good.
based on a true story.
Even if you don't like chess, which most of us don't play probably, it was just terrific.
And
Oh,
I've heard that chess has really increased in popularity after that movie.
yes, Jan, I read that too. The number of chess sets on Amazon like tripled after that movie that were sold
Right.
on Amazon. The Zoo, here's just a couple others that I'd recommend. Zookeeper's Wife.
Yeah, saw that.
You saw that one?
Yeah.
Good. Another one in World War II when the Nazis invaded, I think it was England, wasn't it? And they bombed or closed the zoo there, and how they dealt with trying to protect the animals. And didn't they protect, or they also housed Jews there? They hid Jews in part of the zoo.
That was in Poland, Steve.
In Poland. Okay. Thank you, Bob.
think so.
That's right. It was in Poland. Okay. And Self-Made was a movie about the first self-made Black woman
Yeah.
millionaire. And that was very good in New York. And I think, I can't remember what her business was now, but she was a strong, brilliant character. And then the last one here, Intouchables. I haven't seen this one, but it looked interesting, about an ex-con who becomes the caregiver of a rich man that is incapacitated and needs a caregiver, and how they are from different worlds and their relationship. I've heard that's good and look forward to seeing that one.
I think the rich man's white. It's the man who played bad
Yes,
with the drugs, and then I think the ex-con's black.
yes,
I think I've
yes, that's it, Betty. Right. And then just a couple of them on networks, on the main networks that Vicki and I have enjoyed watching is The Good Doctor, about the autistic surgeon, the young autistic surgeon who's high functioning, but has challenges in communicating with his patients and his fellow doctors. Jan and Bob, have you seen that one at all?
Yeah, we watched it for quite a while. We kind of got tired of it after a while, but yeah, he does a pretty good job playing that role.
I thought he did a good job on the role too, but I had to kind of laugh at that every week. He does all these different complicated surgeries as though he's a specialist in every field of surgery that there is.
Right.
He never brings in a specialist to help him. It's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
unrealistic that way, but.
Yeah.
And then also New Amsterdam has been a high-rated show about the supervisor at a New York hospital who tries to help the staff and the patients and modernize his hospital too. That's been quite interesting. Have you watched that one, Bob and Jan?
Yeah, quite a bit of it. Yeah.
Also very unrealistic.
Yes.
but
Yeah.
but good.
But he's got such a good heart. He wants to make everybody happy and solve all the problems.
Yeah.
And so that's good. And my wife loves This Is Us, that show. I'm not as much a fan, but I can see the characters and the relationships and trying to take care of everybody who's black and white and heavy and thin, and everybody's got to solve their problems. And anybody here watch that and love that show?
I love the way they keep going back and forth, and you can still, they do it in a way where you can keep up, the characters.
It's a good point, Betty. Yeah.
I love that show. I think they do a great job of really dealing with a lot of very difficult issues, like you said, Steve, of talking about people overweight and racial issues and how you handle those things in life. I think they do a wonderful job.
Very well written.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the one recently where the black son who found his birth father and mother.
Yeah.
And that was complicated and handled very well.
Yeah, it really was.
Good.
Has anybody watched Bull?
I watched a little of that, Betty. Yeah, about the jury selection expert.
Yes. Yeah, it brings in some good, he keeps up to date topics.
A lot of good series on.
What's that on?
I don't know. I record things and I don't know when or where. I think it may be CBS.
Okay.
So many we lose track. And I just put in a quick notice here about YouTube. Sometimes I go to YouTube and watch old shows from the 50s or 60s and movies, and often they're free, but they have ads embedded in there too. Have you all done any of that? Go back and watch Daniel Boone or I Love Lucy or any of those old shows that really are not even that easy to call up on demand on cable shows. You know, they're on YouTube.
I like YouTube, some of the music on YouTube. You know, they'll have, I don't know, just, you can find anything on YouTube if you're
Yes.
just, and a lot of the late night comedy shows are replayed on YouTube.
Yeah. And you can go back and even pull it up by scene too. If you remember a scene that you love in a certain show,
Yeah.
you can even just Google search for that on YouTube and pull up your 5-minute scene, which is kind of fun if you have a favorite. Any from any movie, any particular scene, and it's out there excerpted on YouTube.
And they have a lot of good dancing episodes, like for Uptown Funk with Bruno Mars and different people dancing, you know, in lobbies of theaters and things, and
Mhm.
good music with it.
Great. Okay. I'll go through just a few more here and then I'll get off the share screen. One of them that Vicki and I saw actually last night, we went to theater and saw A Quiet Place 2
Oh,
about the family that is in the future when there's been an attack by aliens. But it's not a typical horror story. It's more of a Hitchcockian type of thriller with Emily Blunt and her family. Vicki and I didn't like this second one as much as we did the first one, which was a little more fresh and had a little less of the monsters in it. But still, this is a new type of blending of thriller with some type of horror in it, but not that much, just very differently done. Anybody else see that? And then here's a popular one we want to see also called In the Heights.
yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda about Puerto Rican neighborhood in New York, and looks like it'd be really a good musical. Kind of
I
like
saw
West.
that I saw that yesterday. It's fantastic.
Was it good, Betty?
The music, the singing, the actors, the people, the colors,
Mhm.
the way it's promoted differently. And he's in it. Lin-Manuel's in it a little bit.
Mhm.
I'd go see it again. It's you miss things. There's so many nuances.
Good. Okay. Is it kind of like West Side Story? Is that
Even
singing and dancing?
bigger scenes, more people. There's like hundreds of people dancing in a swimming pool or the street.
Okay,
Fantastic.
great. That's next one on my list to go see. Just a quick look here, the top grossing movies this year so far. One is called Hi Mom, which I hadn't seen before, a Chinese comedy. It's been the highest grossing film of this year. It's about a girl whose mother was fatally injured in a car accident, and the girl transports back in time where she becomes her mother's close friend in 1981. So it's kind of a Back to the Future thing, but with the Chinese setting. And then here's the rest of the top grossing movies so far. Detective Chinatown, Godzilla, Fast and Furious, Quiet Place, and the rest of them there. So
Have you heard of Queen Bees?
no, what's that about?
It was written up in the paper Friday. It's 4 women, Ellen Bernstein, I think Anne Margaret's one, and they're in a retirement home. And it should be very funny.
Oh, that sounds cute. Yeah, okay. Here's the picture of the Hi Mom, if you want to look for that. That's the advertising. Just quick mention of Lifetime top grossing movies. Avatar with the blue people movie is the top grossing one of all time. I didn't realize that. and then Avengers, Titanic, and a Star Wars one. Those are the biggest sellers of all time. And that's the blue one. I haven't seen this God Calling one. Here's just at the end here, my list is a few that looked interesting too. Top watched one on Netflix is called Call My Agent. It's been compared to The West Wing, for example. On HBO Max, there's one called Hacks, a comedy with Gene Smart. Kate Winslet's in one on HBO that's getting a lot of attention called Mayor of Easttown. And a couple others on HBO and CNN, Stanley Tucci, Searching for Italy. And coming up, just mention coming up movies. My wife wants to see one about a deaf family called Coda. It's coming up. And Top Gun, there's a West Side Story remake, be released in December by Steven Spielberg, remaking the original West Side Story. And then Downton Abbey 2 is a movie coming out for a December release also. So that's all I had. Hello, Jason Gilger. Nice to see you on here too now. Well, what did you think? What do you all have to recommend? Shannon Butler, you watch probably some good stuff on TV and films too, and that have been made from books. What have you liked lately?
Oh gosh, it's funny. Jerry and I were laughing the other day. We got rid of cable a while ago, and now we have so many streaming services. I feel like I need like a central location to collect all my streaming services. So I was trying to remember like what platforms where I've watched. I mean, there's so many good shows. I am Mayor of Easttown. I really recommend. It was really good.
Winslet.
Yeah, that was really good. Recent one that I've watched. We like documentaries, so we watch a lot of those.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about those yet.
Yeah, documentaries are really good. That's my favorite, probably genre. I've watched some comedy specials. I'm trying to think. I've watched I actually have an app that tracks my TV and movie watching, so I can keep track of what season I'm in. And
that's a great idea. What's the name of your app?
it's called TV Time.
Okay.
Yeah, TV Time. Yeah, and it has, so I can keep track of everything. Ted Lasso was probably one of my favorite shows. Love. In fact, I made all my kids watch it when they came to visit, and they all loved it.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. It's a great, if you want, it's just a really good, uplifting, fun show. It's on Apple TV.
Okay.
But it's worth it even if you've never had Apple TV, you can get like the whatchamacallit, like a free preview. Because they're short, they're like little 30-minute episodes, and it's a short season. The second season's coming out in July. But it is probably the most recommended show I've made this year. I love Ted Lasso. It's great. It's with Sudeikis. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, I don't know. I'd have to make a whole list. Like there's so many shows. I can't even remember them all. So much good TV. I think it's the best thing to come out of quarantine was streaming services and all the, I don't like going to the movie theater. So for me, it's been great. Yeah.
And there's so many to choose from and more coming. How do we keep up with all the streaming services? Yeah.
I'm with you. I haven't had cable for quite a while, and I just go crazy over that and do the 30-day trials and then decide if I want to keep it or not. And one documentary that I really liked, it's been a while ago that I saw it. It's pretty serious. It's called Social Dilemma, and it's a development of the social networks, and it's pretty serious.
Yeah.
And if you're a reader, you might like Hillbilly Elegy. That's been on. The Cosmic E Method.
Cosmic E Method.
That just started a new series.
Kaminsky Method, yeah.
Oh, the Kaminsky Method with, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Alan Arkin.
Kurt Douglas.
Yeah.
Michael Douglas, yeah.
Yeah, It's a story of a relationship between those
Yeah,
two.
very good.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Kim's-
documentaries, Vicki and I have been getting into documentaries too, including even like World War II in color. Some of the footage is just amazing in color of dogfights and things in World War II that we never really seen before. So, sorry, go ahead. Bob and Jan, you started to say something.
Yeah, Kim's Convenience is a good one to end the evening with a kind of a lighthearted comedy that puts you in a good mood to go to bed.
Called
What was
Kim's-
that?
Kim's Convenience.
It's a
It's
Korean.
about a Korean family running a convenience store in Canada.
Oh, okay.
It's just fun.
Do you remember what network or
It's on
service? Netflix. Okay.
Netflix. Yeah. It's
Okay.
just starting the 5th season. So
Yeah.
it's been highly successful. I just read that it's starting the 5th and final season. But yeah, it's really good.
Oh, I thought of another favorite.
Okay,
On,
please, anybody should go ahead and share.
On HBO Max, it's called The Great Pottery Throwdown. I've never thought I'd be fascinated by pottery in all my life. I want to do pottery. I've got to find pottery classes somewhere. It is the best show. They make the most beautiful things, and it's a competition show, and it's in Britain. It's set in England. So they just have such a great spirit. It's so fun to watch. I really recommend that. I think there's 4 seasons on HBO Max. It's really good.
Okay,
You know, I need to throw in the old MASH. I still record the old MASHes and remember those. They're fantastic.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
they hold up
Korean
over
War.
time.
Mhm.
So does the Everybody Loves Raymond show. I still enjoy watching that too, because that family is just written so well.
We went back and re-watched all the Friends series during COVID. And that was really fun to just watch those again.
Yeah, and kids today love Friends too, don't they? The kids that are teens and 20s
Yeah.
appreciate how good that was. Did anybody watch the reunion on HBO? The Friends reunion show?
Heard about it.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched it yet. I understand it was not a fictional show. It's they bring back the cast and the cast just talks about and watches some of the old outtakes of their show and comments on it. So that's what that's supposed to be like. Ron and Alice, what have you been watching that you like? Any documentaries or anything to recommend? You're still muted.
There we go. I like Outlander.
Me
that whole
too.
series.
Mhm.
Oh, I love Claire on Outlander. Oh, she's the best.
Yeah. And old World War II movies. There's a series called The Pacific and then Band of Brothers. Those were good. What else did we watch? Das Boot. I don't know. I'm just fascinated with World War II movies for whatever reason. What is it you like? We watch a lot of Rockies games too.
Very good. There's so much good stuff among all the bad stuff. But that's subjective, of course. I'm sure there's people that love the Kardashians and hang on every episode that there is. And that's wonderful if that's what they enjoy.
Rick Steves shows are good too. The one about he did about fascism. That was fascinating.
Travel shows, yeah,
The shows, yeah.
yeah. Hey, Susan, can I ask you what you watch in Ontario? Do you get the same streaming services and shows in Ontario that there are in the States?
We do, and I was thinking when everyone was talking about Kim's Convenience, I mean, we get all the American television and all the streaming services, but the US doesn't get the Canadian, and that's one of the topics that we'll cover when we do our presentation on Canada, because it's really a problem for filmmakers and documentary makers and anybody in the arts in Canada because of the way they have the rules set up. But Kim's Convenience, of course, was really great. And Schitt's Creek was originated here in Canada. So we're really proud of that and the fact that that has actually gone mainstream as well.
And a
Schitt's
lot of
Creek is one of my favorite all-time shows ever.
really quirky, isn't it? Yeah. You have to like Eugene Levy and his son, I think, to appreciate it too, and their sense of humor. A lot of shows are filming now in Ontario and other parts of Canada, aren't they, Susan? Because it's cheaper, and so some of them have moved from Hollywood to filming in Canada, even more
Yeah.
than before.
A lot of them in Vancouver too. Vancouver and in Toronto are the two main places. And the Canadian government gives a lot of tax credits for doing business up here. So there is, there's a lot. There's Amazon, there's Google, everybody's, there are incentives to come to Canada to work. Yeah.
And are there a lot of movie and TV original shows filmed in Canada and written, and there's a whole industry in Canada that Americans don't know about?
That's right.
Is that
It's
right?
really unfortunate. Yeah.
I would think today we'd be able to discover it easily with the internet, but
Yeah.
not yet. Huh?
Possibly. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what is on YouTube, as you mentioned, but no, it's a bone of contention for the artistic community in Canada for sure.
Interesting. I wonder if it's that way around the world too, if there's Australian productions that are really good that don't make it to America, and Bollywood in
Right.
India and all that.
If you subscribe to, I think it's BritBox, there is a British streaming service that's all the British TV shows, and there are so many I have never heard of. So maybe that's what Canada and some of these other countries need to do, is come out with their own streaming service.
Good point.
Well, there are so many people from around the world here. I think there are like 180 different languages spoken in Toronto alone, that we get a lot on cable. And so we even have like Punjabi hockey night, like everybody's into hockey in Canada, of course. But, so we have Punjabi narrators, narrating the hockey games. I mean, it's really fascinating. We get a lot of television and news from all over the world. And even the local news is geared towards an international community, because a lot of people are here because of, they've fled bad stuff and they want to know what's going on in their home. So even the local news covers stuff that you wouldn't expect. More international. It's very interesting.
Good. A question I wanted to ask too was those of you that have, Shannon, you and Jerry have kids that are in their 20s, what are they watching today? Do they watch TV like this? Do they watch streaming shows? Do they watch Friends, or what's popular?
Yeah, Ethan's favorite show is was Friends. Now he's seen them all like a billion times. I mean, it depends. All my girls are different, so they don't watch a lot of TV, I'll say. But they have they steal our streaming services. They get my password and log in. And so that's how they get a lot of their shows. But Ethan likes anime. He likes The Witcher, Umbrella Academy, shows like that, fantasy, DC Comics, Avengers. What is that? What's the Avengers? It's not DC, it's the other one. Marvel, thank you. He loves Marvel movies. He's actually been binging the Harry Potter movies now that they're out on HBO Max. So he's been watching those again.
Shannon's talking about her teenage son here.
Yeah, Ethan, he's 15. We don't really monitor what he watches, probably the way a lot of parents do. When you have older kids, that just goes out the window. Ethan was watching things in elementary school that we would have never let the girls watch. But yeah, so they watch some of the same things that Jerry and I watch. So I always try to tap in and say, what are y'all watching? Mare of Easttown, Queen's Gambit. Those were some of the Handmaid's Tale. Handmaid's Tale is huge for all my daughters. Living in Texas, they kind of feel like they're living in a real life Handmaid's Tale pretty soon.
Yeah, that was, we watched that too, Vicky and I did. Very unusual, about a dystopian society in the future that takes all the fertile young women and makes them bear children. Yeah.
And that was written by a Canadian, Margaret Atwood.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's another one that made it out, fortunately.
My college-age grandsons watch a lot of sports, and it was the Nuggets and the Avs until things fell apart. You know, they were really disappointed that they didn't go further. They're watching the Canadian Maple Leafs now a lot.
60 Minutes had a very powerful documentary about 2 weeks ago on the horrific bodily damage done by assault weapons and their bullets. I don't know if anybody saw that.
It did.
Yeah, 60 Minutes remains a terrific show.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the only investigative TV journalism left. I think. Boy, TV has sure changed from the early days, hasn't it? I was just reading the other day that when I Love Lucy debuted, you know, in the 50s, it would be like 80% of the American population would watch that show and talk about it the next day at the water cooler. And today we've got so fragmented viewership. It's just so different.
It was Sunday night watching Jack Benny followed by Ed Sullivan.
Yes,
That? I guess I'm older than most of you. I don't know.
yes. Or The Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
Yep,
For-
that was
for me,
when I
it
was a
was-
kid.
For me, it was must see TV on Thursday nights, and that's when there was Friends, and
Yeah.
that was the 90s, 80s and 90s. Yeah,
Good point.
network TV.
Shannon.
For me, it was Laugh-In. We would not miss Laugh-In.
What about Saturday Night Live? Oh,
That was
Wow,
kind of late
still
for
going.
me. What about Star Trek?
Star
I was
Trek.
Trekkie for a long time.
mhm.
And they've started filming a new Star Trek series now, a prequel to the original Star Trek.
Right, you told me about that.
Yeah, about Captain Christopher Pike, who was before Captain Kirk, the first Enterprise captain, for those of us that love Star Trek. Yep, it just keeps going. Well, as we wrap up here last few minutes, what do you think of the moral message in the shows today? Do you think it's still pretty much a good message, or have we gone too far into all the bad stuff? Seems to me,
If I don't like something, I turn it off, so.
Yeah. yeah, but most of them we've talked about today are all good
Yeah.
shows,
Yeah.
good family messages. Nothing really that seems to glorify violence or abuse of people. The dominant theme still seems to me to be treat people well, have a good moral message to your show. There's a
I,
lot more violence today, of course.
yeah, I don't really agree with you, Steve. I think the dominant theme is sex and violence in a great deal of the shows. There are a lot of them that will start and then it's like, can't watch this,
Oh, goes too far. Yeah.
and then turn it off.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not that we're not watching it. I'm just worried about the people who are watching it.
Right.
Too much guns, violence, language, no respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, one that I've watched and that I have to kind of admit I probably shouldn't watch was the oh darn, called now. The Keanu Reeves ones where he's really shooting everybody so much.
The Matrix.
No, not The Matrix. It's his newest
Oh,
series.
John Wick.
John Wick series. Yeah, I've watched each of those that come out more out of curiosity about how much violence there is in those. And even though he's a good guy and he's killing bad guys, it's just the violence is taken to the extreme of blood spurting out of everybody that he shoots. It's just like taking it to the next level. And I have to think that affects kids and those who become mass shooters, because they see this and they think that this is the way the world is today. But good point, Jan. I do agree that we've taken sex and violence to the next levels, and it's just become too much.
Yeah.
One of the difficulties, the people who most need to see some of the moral message movies and TV turn it off. And some of the people that, with respect to who's on Zooming here this morning, in some respects, and not to put us on a pedestal, but we're the ones maybe that least need to see some of the moral message movies, relatively speaking. So people that are locked into bad stuff, where they get misinformation, where they get violence. Shame a lot of those don't get exposed to the better side of life.
Yeah.
Okay, any final thoughts as we wrap up? Appreciate everybody's recommendation. This was fun. I got a good list to see new things like I don't already watch enough.
Thanks for all your suggestions, Steve.
Oh, you're welcome. Few
Yeah.
that I've enjoyed. Alice has a whole list. Probably everybody's got a little list there. Good. Are any on your list that we didn't talk about that you want to add here at the end?
I was just writing down what you were saying, so.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. This was fun to talk about. We'll do this again later in the year, maybe, when we get more folks. We don't have many people on today. Maybe we'll get more recommendations in a few months. Well, take
Thank
care.
you, Steve.
Good to see you all. Take
Thank
care.
you.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.